Sa booking, yun na-injured nga ako, naging part din ako ng booking team. So, most likely siya yung nagsiset ng mga match sa mga show. So, inaayos namin din yung mga match, ina-arrange namin kung sino ba yung unang magmamatch hanggang sa mag-main event. Kami rin din yung nag-aayos ng storyline kung sino bang kasunod na makakalaban mo sa ring. Ganun. Kung paano rin yung pagtanggap sa'yo ng tao. Kung gusto ka ng tao, syempre, ibubuka namin ng maayos. Kumbaga, most of the time mananalo ka or magkakaroon ka ng magandang place sa mga matches.
As much as possible, we want to promote their characters, and I mean their internal characters, who they are as people, and what makes them interesting, and to give people a reason to care about them. Everybody can learn how to wrestle, a lot of people can learn how to fall, but not everybody can be the person that they are. Not everybody can be a character that they are. The best thing you could do, in my opinion, is to not really just be yourself. You've got to be yourself turned up to the level 11. You've got to be a lot more than what you are. You've got to, what you call, bring out something in yourself that you don't normally bring out to the real world when you're in the ring. But as much as possible, you've got to believe in what you're doing. You can't just be a character. You can't just pretend to be a character. You have to be who you are in the ring. Turn it up. That's actually one of the beauties of professional wrestling and one of the hardships. You can't just be more of a performer and you can't just be more of an athlete. You've got to have the right balance of both. You've got to be tough, you've got to be athletically capable, and you've got to be aware of yourself, and you've got to be able to entertain the people that paid their hard-earned money to watch you. So you need to learn to get a good balance of it. That's the beauty of professional wrestling. It's both a sport and it's theater. There's nothing else like it in the world.
You do have storylines. It's like a soap opera for grown men. There's a story that starts off and then it just continues and continues and continues. You know, in wrestling you have to have a bad guy, you have to have a good guy. Someone to root for, someone to cheer, not to root for, you know? And so it's very important that every wrestling company, every wrestling show develops some type of storyline. You know, it's kind of hard on the independent scene because we're not on television. But if you're going to run a show every month, you need to have a storyline building up, you know.
5 minutes have passed. 5 minutes have passed.
Who's your main guy? Who's your heavyweight champion? Who's your women's champion? Who's your television champion or whatever champion? And you build from there. So the story comes from, in MMA or boxing, is where you're from and if you're the hometown favorite. Whereas wrestling, you both could be from the same place, but it's up to the booker to make sure that there's a story there. And that's the character of wrestling. You know, so we're not out here to kill each other every day. We're out here to make them tell the story so that people will come and see us, you know, and enjoy it.
Meron po kaming creative director. With regards to the storyline, we let storylines develop organically lang po kasi. So wherever may conflict between certain performers, titingnan po namin yon. Magandang matchup po ba ito? Ano po yung storyline na pwedeng may udlot or may kuha dito sa pairing na to? And from there, the storytelling just comes out organically and naturally. And since we have a great team of storytellers nga that came from the theater industry, that came from the advertising and entertainment industry, we know, in a sense, kung ano yung mga storylines na magugustuhan ng mga tao at kung saan sila magla-latch on at kung saan sila mag-i-invest sa mga performers na nandun sa ring. So, yun lang po yun. We just let storylines develop organically and we just let the performers lead the way in terms of where their characters' motivations and conflicts lie. We have the David versus Goliath stories. It's one of the best stories you can tell, not just in wrestling, but any entertainment vehicle. We also have intergender matches because here in Manila Wrestling Federation, we believe that the women can just hang as well as the men, you know? They can kick butt as well as the men can.
When you get that big sense of relief, you know, like if you're a student, if you're somebody working at a job and for whatever reason you had an argument with your boss, you had an argument with your teacher, and you can't just punch said person in the face. So when you go buy a ticket and you watch professional wrestling live and you see some of your favorites, you want to see them beat up the guys that you hate the most. You want to actually envision yourself in the ring. That's your way of relief. That's the way of blowing off some steam and getting some stress out. And it's a way to just relax. That's the whole point. You sit back, you relax with your family, and you have a good time.